For Valentine's Day, I rewatched the movie Anyone But You. Very enjoyable. And aside from the lines from the Shakespeare play that were sprinkled into the background, because for those of you who don't know, it was based on a Shakespeare play where they took the storyline of a Shakespeare play, modernized it, and then paid tribute to it, even though it's in the public domain. I'm pretty sure they didn't have to do that. But it was an interesting little touch I noticed that I didn't notice the first time I went to see it an early access show in December of 2023. Anyway, what I really want to talk about though is the idea of living your own path versus living for the path that following the path that someone else set out for you. Because in the movie, Sydney Sweeney, he dropped out of law school because she just didn't want to be a lawyer. But her parents were all like, "You have to be a lawyer." Why did I do the Mickey Mouse voice? I was trying to imitate her mom. Uh yeah, you have to be a lawyer. We set this path out for you. We made these sacrifices. But then she was like, no, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to find my own way. Yeah, and it got me thinking about like how I went to college because people said I had to because it was the way, not because as I particularly wanted to. And back then I didn't have the courage to say, no, this is not something I want to do. Of course, I can't say I regret it because if I do, I'd feel like I was insulting the friends I made while I was there, which, let's just say it's kind of like the Clone Wars to Ahsoka and Rex, like, for that. If it weren't for the thing that I didn't want to do, I wouldn't have made the good friend I made. So let me put it to you this way. I am Ahsoka. One of my friends is Captain Rex, and the Clone College is the Clone Wars. If it weren't for the Clone Wars, Captain Rex and all the clones wouldn't exist. Okay, I think you get the idea. But yeah, it's a thing I notice a lot in movies and TV. That Pixar movie Elemental, the what's her name? The fire people's is what was her name? Ember's parents made it seem like they wanted her to just take over running the store, even though she didn't want to do that. Yeah, it takes me back to reminds me of when I was in middle school. My eighth grade world history teacher said how a lot of changes over the years made so that you don't have to do the family business. And he wasn't talking about the mafia. So, for example, hundreds of years ago, few centuries ago, 1,000 years ago, had you would have had a clear cut path set for you, which honestly doesn't seem too bad when you look at the crap show that job applications are in 2025. I mean, the family farm or something like that, guaranteed work. Yeah, it was because of improved farming capabilities that we were able to advance and have different kinds of jobs. You know, if it weren't for all the blue collar or, or workers out there doing the things that keep us going, the white collar jobs actually wouldn't exist. Which is actually something I noticed in one of the final Cobra Kai episodes when Robbie's counselor was essentially dunking on blue collar labor and making it seem like something to be ashamed of. When I know for when I know from all the other YouTubers I've watched, like Aaron Clary and Raymond Thoughts in Mind, that blue collar labor can actually be really gratifying and pay pretty well. Yeah, just like Sydney Sweeney's character's parents and Anyone But You, a lot of parents can set out a path for their child that they might not want to follow. Kind of like in Gran Turismo when Jan didn't want to just follow in his father's footsteps of working in the rail yard. See, you don't have to follow a prescribed path. I mean, back in the Middle Ages, that's kind of how it was. And you know what? I'm going to merge this with what I wanted to talk about with parents who live through their kids. That's what this is really all about. Parents who try living through their children. So basically, you know what? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, following your own path is not always something that people want to see happen because a lot of parents want to live through their kids or make them do things that they might not want to do because they want to see them succeed where they personally failed, but it might not be something that they want to do. So it could be as simple as making your kids play a sport or do a extracurricular activity that you enjoyed and that you really wanted to go pro in but never got the chance to, and then that parent is forcing that child to do that activity in the hopes of trying to live through them. Like, use them as an extension of themselves and be like, "Yay, I succeeded." When really, your son or daughter succeeded but it was against their will. Yeah, thankfully for me personally, I was never forced into anything like that, except maybe college because but then again, everyone's kind of coerced into that. It it's sort of like this overall social pressure where the public schools, the parents, boomers or Gen Xers are just pushing it on you because, oh, it's a guaranteed way to success, or oh, it's gonna pay you more if you have the degree, but then you're not getting the experience. And if everyone has a college degree, then what does it really mean? It's like Syndrome said in The Incredibles. Oh my god, I just realized it's the same thing with Mr. Incredible trying to have Dash go out for sports because he wants to live through Dash's success. Or that was more about letting him embrace his powers instead of hiding them. That's a topic for another day. Anyways, like Syndrome said, if everyone's super, no one is. You know what? I think I'll have to do a separate video on that particular topic, the if everyone's special, no one is, or something like that. But anyway, the point is, parents often use their children to live through them, if you will, to get a second chance for that. Some of them mean well, but mostly it's very selfish attempt to make someone do something they might not want to do, just like Sydney Sweeney's character in Anyone But You with being a lawyer. She made the choice to drop out of law school because she didn't want to be a lawyer, and her boomer parents would and should go ahead and respect that decision. Yeah, my personal life, I actually really haven't seen that all that much. I mean, one of my uncles with my cousins in the way that he strongly encourages sports, you could is about the closest I've seen, but I've never or had any of my cousins confess that they don't want to do any of these sports that they do. They all like playing hockey, softball, baseball, etc., which I think is the healthy way to approach this kind of thing. Yeah, to any parents out there who are watching this, be like my uncle when it comes to that. Encourage the things you want to see them do, but don't get upset if they decide they don't like it and they want to give up. Like, he encouraged me to do sports back when I was younger, but I essentially dropped out of all extracurricular activities by the end of elementary school. And he's never really given me a hard time for it. Maybe jokingly, but he's never like disowned me as his nephew or anything like that. Whereas I wouldn't have been surprised if the parents of Sydney Sweeney's Anyone But You character all of a sudden disowned her halfway through the movie, or it seemed like they were on the edge of it when they found out. And on that note, I'm going to leave it here for the video. Comment down below what you think about following the path someone else sets out for you versus following your own path, and parents living through their children. Give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos, and I will see you soon.